It was the Prime Minister's main stop for Indian Arrival Day, the Parvati Girls High School in Debe, and the main stop too for the highway reroute movement, who have been clamouring for the rerouting of the leg of the highway that goes from Debe to Mont Desir. They came with placards, some bearing the Prime Minister's popular mantra, "Serve the people."
Today we are celebrating Indian Arrival Day, 167 years since our foreparents came to these shores, but at the same time, 300 plus families are being set back 167 years.
On this auspicious day, yes, when we're supposed to be celebrating, look at us, what we have to be doing. We're not celebrating at all because we would be put in place like barracks like our forefathers came 167 years ago.
The Prime Minister would arrive greeted with chants of heritage before highway and would head straight inside for the ceremony. The protesters had different plans, however, as they sat on the ground at the gateway in front of the vehicles that make up the Prime Minister's entourage, singing bhajans. The police, for the most part, appeared uncertain of their next move. Conversing with each other and looking on, the protesters unmoved. The rains came down and an officer moved in to try simple persuasion, but he stood no chance of success against a group of protesters who say their ways of life is about to be drastically altered by the highway plans. They were joined by this elderly woman who sang with them before breaking down in tears a little later. Police would try to persuade Dr. WEN7KAM, who leads the group, and more police officers eventually moved in on the protesters, trying to get them to move. Nothing working, the police would refer to an all-too familiar scene. Dr. WEN7KAM being dragged away by the police officers from in front of the gate, the beginning of their action against the protesters. The female police officers would physically remove the female protesters one by one as they shouted and pleaded their cause. The last one remaining unmoved, continuing to sing bhajans before she too was lifted away. They continued to argue with the police, taking the rage off on them, but directing it to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister would soon be escorted out by her security guards, the protesters thinking she was coming to meet with them, but this was not to be, leaving them more upset as she left. For CNC3, I'm Samson Anton.